on major highways, investment on railway, investment, things like that, that you invest in, you borrow to invest, and then there will be returns. Well, then it means you can generate. So these are the. Now coming back to the debts of about 28 governors.
Yes.
Now, you know, we have 36. The other states were not mentioned because those people are like in Osun. Osun was not mentioned because you see, we have just had a new governor, ditto for Anambra and other states. Now, in every country, the major source of revenue to the government is tax. But we are lucky in Nigeria because we have money from petroleum. Unfortunately, we have overused it. So today, what's the major source of revenue to the federal government? By extension to the states and local government. The major source is petroleum. They have talked about diversifying the economy, not much is coming in. Then we have internally generated revenue. Now, if you look at the oil revenue, as blessed as Nigeria is, what has been the value we have added to the crude oil? Now, we have refineries. Look, God just gave us this oil. Look at the land and then get oil. We got the oil. We have 4 refineries. And for over 8 or so many years, we have not been able to put them into shape. So that we now send our crude oil abroad and then bring back the refined oil. And that's why we continue to have something like subsidy. Ordinarily, we should not be talking about subsidy. So, but because of the differentials, now when you export it, you bring it back, you pay freight, you pay insurance and other things. Now, so that is the oil. Now, if the money is not enough, then tax, even whether the money is enough or not, we have to generate revenue from tax. Unfortunately, the only unlucky in quote Nigerians that pay tax are the salaried earners, particularly the civil servants, or let's say generally both the private and particularly the organized private sector, not the individual one man. So you complement that. But you see, the economy is bad now. Because the economy is bad, much is not coming from there. And government has to carry out duties. So it means they have to borrow. But unfortunately, there are some states that borrow needless. I mean, they don't spend the money as judicious as they ought to. So they keep piling the debt, believing that government is a continuum. Okay. So you can get your own debt. When you leave the debt there, another person will come in and so that's the situation. All right. It's so bad, but unfortunately, so it is.
All right. Kayode, looking at the quantum of the debt, over 5 trillion naira, are you not worried?
Well, as an individual, I'm worried. Yeah. And as a Nigerian, I'm frightened. See, because you are talking of trillion. It's not billion, it's not millions. And that is at the state level. What of the federal? I think the last figure we had was 42.something trillion naira debt. And there is this projection that by this time, I mean, towards the end of this, by the time this government goes away, the debt will have increased to 77 trillion. And the federal government does not feel concerned, as if it is normal. Yes, it is normal to take loan to execute projects in government. It is normal. All countries take loan. Even US take loan. UK takes loan. You know, but where these loans, where are they spent? On what sectors are they spent? That is the major problem we have in this country. In a situation where we take loans to execute current expenditure, you know, I mean, that shows that country has failed. You take loan to pay salaries. Ordinarily, when loans are taken, they are supposed to be, like Maurice said in his analysis, they are supposed to be invested on sectors that will generate revenue. But that is not what is happening here. And in spite of this frightening figure, 5 trillion naira debt awaiting 28 governors, you still find people showing interest in coming into government, people running up and down to become governors. So you now start to question the genuineness of their intention. Are they serious, or they also want to go there and have their own share of the cake? So it's a frightening situation. Yeah. And you see, I was somewhere last year, and one man was saying that posterity will not forgive this generation, this present generation. That posterity includes our children, our grandchildren, and what are we leaving behind for this coming generation? We are leaving legacy of debt, humongous debt, nothing to show for the debt. Look at the Niger Bridge, the second Niger Bridge. You know, it was partially opened during the festive period, and it has been closed now. What is the meaning of that? And somebody is now telling us they will toll it. In spite of the hardship you are facing, you still toll it. And somebody was even analyzing that money spent there, the loans were taken, but the payment of the loans will be borne by you and I, by every Nigerian. And where lies the benefit? You know, yes, we can toll the highways as a way of generating funds to maintain them, like it happened during the military until Obasanjo came and cancelled the toll because of the corruption involved. And even if it is tolled, and the system is the way we have been used to, it will not bring in anything. It will escalate corruption. You know, where tolls are gained in advanced countries, it is automated. You know, you don't need to waste time and somebody passing a ticket to you, and you also put it in the pocket or whatever. No, you just get there and the thing will just automate itself and you go. Have you got to that stage in this country? So it's a frightening situation. 5 trillion naira. That's we are talking of 28 states. Yeah. What of the 8 other states? Like Muri said, it's because Osun is not included, because there's a new governor on seat now. What of the other states? It's not as if these 8 states don't also owe. They are also in debt. So it's a frightening situation.
All right. Thank you. Now let's look at this. Looking at this topic critically, 28 governors pile up over 5 for incoming government. Now, how will the incoming by next month we will have general elections and the new governors will be elected in most of the states. Now, they will be sworn in by May this year. Now, how will they be able to perform going by the level of the debt that they will be elected?
You do not hinder them. They are also going to compile their compounding. You see, like our captain said, that people are jostling to get there. You think it's for the society's good? No, it's for their selfish interest. But they don't want to let it. Okay, I will also add my own. You know the controversy in Osun State when Oyinlola took, I think 18 billion. After the furore and this thing, we know what happened later. Yes. And so that is it. So they are not bothered. In fact, that is the least of their problems. There is debt there. Okay, we also want to do this, we want to do that. Let us go for loan now. We all know the economy is bad. People are not paying. You see, as a people, sometimes I begin to wonder, is there something fundamentally or genetically wrong with the black man? Look at Osun. I saw the campaign of these people here. And I sat there, though I wasn't there, I sat down and asked myself, what Peter Obi came to say here, although I know people will start abusing me, but at least I have to say my mind. The man came here, and all that he said here is what he said in Ekiti. Go and take your PVC, go and vote, you do this, you turn the economy from consumption. Now, one would have expected that as a party, you must have your research department. Now, your research department at the national level will liaise with their research department at the state level. Then you come here and tell us that in Osun, if I win the election, the 2 federal government companies that were privatized and are not functioning, you are going to do something about that. You tell us that our land, which is arable, which is good for agricultural products that we are going to help increase it. Then you tell us that the mining in Ijesa land, now you are going to come up with something. I mean, tell us now if you are, what you are saying, what you said in Ekiti, you said in Ondo, is what you came here to say. To me, you have said nothing. There are peculiarities. There are some areas they will not need. They will not talk about this mining because they don't have it. There are some, now, if we are now look at that two communities. You see, I'm concerned because I wonder how we are talking about you, and the greatest population we have is among the youths and women. So if people get job there, it means they will get steady income and they will be able to pay tax to the government. Get to Ikeja, get to Lukweju, get to Apapa. All those industrial estates established by Awolowo, they have become worship centers. So people are not getting job. People are losing their jobs there. Market money, trader money cannot, it's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. So we have to, there was even cocoa industry too in Osun, in Ede. I don't know whether it's still producing. We are still producing cocoa. So sometimes we begin to wonder, and we cry that there's no money, we go abroad. I think we have to put our thinking caps on to be creative and innovative in how to get money. But we resort load is not a hanging fruit. It's not a low hanging fruit. It comes with a cost. In our budget, we are going to spend a humongous amount to service debt. And because they know you cannot fail to service, but to service your debt, these people are not worried. When you ask for loan, they will give you, provided you service the loan. And you discover that after some time, what you have paid on servicing the loan will have been greater than the principal you took. So I think we have to look inward and see how we can better the society. This idea of having so many moribund and so many companies left Ikeja, Apapa, and all for other countries. Why? Because okay, we are going to talk about electricity. Electricity is not steady. What is even steady? So that's the problem. It's very frightening, and but I think if we have a good leader, but how will we come across that good leader?
Thank you, Sake. Let me ask you this: there is no doubt that with this level of debt, the incoming governments are likely to be incapacitated. Does that mean that we should not expect any level of performance from them?
Well, it depends on leadership. You see, when you have a leader that knows what he's doing, okay. You see, because I expect that before anybody decides to lead any organization, okay, including states, including the state at federal, local, and national level, one should have sat down and one should have properly reassessed the situation and assess its own capability. But we don't have that kind of situation here. People just decide, look, I've had enough money. The next thing for me is to seek for political power, and he knows the money can bring that power. That's all. Look at the campaign we are having now. They have reduced it to abusive fora. You know, they mount the soapbox and start abusing themselves. You know, such as people of that level. You know, not people of the garage, motor garage level. You know, it's annoying. That shows that you have not gotten the right leadership. It's the leadership that matters. A leadership that knows the in and out, that knows what to do to change the situation. But you know, they come there, they spend 4 years or 8 years, and the next thing we see is that they have amassed wealth, including their aides and their supporters, talking arrogantly down on citizens. So that has been the situation we have on hand. It is it's not as if the narrative cannot be changed, but we need a leader that can do that. And we have such leaders now. So we are just experimenting. So when we are even asked that we should also ask for debt forgiveness. You know, the luck that Obasanjo had in 2007 or thereabouts,
Yes.
when he was able to get debt forgiveness for this. I don't think any creditor will be ready to give us that. That opportunity now, because they've seen the way we continue to spend in these loans. We are not spending the loans productively. So you cannot turn around and ask the creditor to forgive you your debt. They won't do that now. They won't do that. All what they are waiting for is how to make sure that the debt level increases. And at the end of the day, Nigeria will. I don't pray for that. We may be recolonized by our creditors. That is the next thing, because you are not able to pay your debt. You become slaves. I pray that situation does not arise.
Now, let me come back to Alhaji Muritala brother. Now, before we round up on this topic, what would be your advice on those governments that will be inheriting this debt?
They don't have any problem. The people coming together, they don't have any problem at all. It's the society, it's you and I that have the problem. But what can we do? You see,